Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about staying safe on construction sites. Site inspections are very common for co-op students, engineers in training, and junior team members. And I think that they are one of the best ways to learn about how projects go and function and actual measurements and just seeing how everything comes together. It's also important to remember that construction sites can also be really dangerous places if you're not paying attention. There can be unstable ground, open excavations, trenches, heavy machinery, overhead hazards, and many different groups working all in the same area at once. Because of that, it's important to know how to keep yourself safe while you're on site. Every company and every construction site will have its own safety policies and hopefully a safety orientation. So always follow the procedures provided by your employer and especially the construction team. I just wanted to make this video as some supplemental advice based on my own experience working on construction sites, because I know it can be really intimidating your first couple times out on site. So before you even step foot onto a construction site, there's a few things you should already know. First is, where is the closest hospital or urgent care or just medical center that you can get to? That's just the first thing that you should know. And second, you should know what to do if an emergency happens. Who should you call? Who is your check-in person? What's your company's check-in procedures based on time or text versus phone call? Most engineering companies will require you to fill out a field level hazard assessment, or an FLHA, before heading into the field. This document usually includes information, like I said, about the hospitals, emergency contacts, site hazards, PPE, and your communication plan. One thing I always want people to remember is that if an accident happens, your first priority is getting yourself to safety. Before calling 911 or before contacting your supervisor, make sure you are in a safe location. You can't help anyone if you become another person who needs rescuing or help. Once you're safe, that's when you can follow your company's emergency procedures and the site's emergency response plan. So that was everything before you get to the site, and now we're going to talk about entering the site. When you first arrive, you'll usually check in with somebody at the entrance. This could be a gate attendant, maybe the superintendent will be meeting you there, or any member of the construction team. They'll let whoever needs to know that you're there, and tell you whether it's safe to continue to drive onto site. Oftentimes there's only one access road and it's being shared by the dump trucks, the excavator, cranes, concrete trucks, you name it. Never assume that it's okay to drive straight onto site, and wait until you're told that it's safe to proceed. And before getting out of your vehicle, make sure you're wearing all your required PPE. And building off of that, my next point is that communication is everything. It is one of the biggest safety tools you have while you're on site. Like I mentioned before, it's always important to let the superintendent or foreman or whoever is running the construction site know why you're there, when you're there, and where you need to go. Construction sites are loud. Workers often can't hear somebody yelling across the site. And that is why a lot of the construction people wear radios. The superintendent and the foreman will usually have radios that allow them to communicate directly with the equipment operators and crew. If you need to cross through an active area, do not try to sneak through. Let someone know. They can stop work for a moment, let everybody know, and make sure that you have a safe path. Never feel like you're being a bother with advanced, often communication. Everyone on site would much rather pause than risk somebody getting hurt. The next thing I want to talk about is working around heavy machinery. The first time I worked around an excavator and a dump truck, I was so intimidated. These machines are incredibly powerful and they can move quickly, and operators also have significant blind spots. Take a few minutes to learn where those blind spots are for the equipment that you will be seeing on site. And you can also talk to the operators and ask where their specific blind spots are and where they would like you to stand, how they would like you to approach, and any information they would like you to know so that you can stay safe on site. Generally, before walking near any heavy equipment, you want to make eye contact with the operator. You want to wait until they acknowledge you and they make sure that they know that you are coming. For excavators specifically, Never walk close to one until the operator has stopped moving it and they've lowered the bucket to the ground. That tells you that the machine is secure and the operator knows that you're there. And the biggest takeaway when working around heavy machinery is make yourself visible with your PPE, give them a wave, make eye contact, make sure that everybody knows your path that you will be taking, and never assume that an operator can see you without the steps that we talked about, making eye contact, putting the bucket on the ground. Okay, my next topic will be about holes and trenches. If you are visiting site, I am sure that your supervisors will talk to you about this. It's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give. As a junior, you should never enter a hole or a trench unless you are properly trained, authorized, or the excavation has been made safe for entry, and this has been verified by geotechnical engineers, and your supervisor specifically tells you to go in. But that would be super rare for junior engineering. I would say that every company I've ever worked for essentially has the same rule. We do not go in holes. Even if somebody on the construction team says that they need you to take a look at something in the hole, politely ask them to take a photo instead, and they can show you on the ground above. The reason for this is that excavation and trenches can collapse without warning. Entering one safely requires shoring, inspections, training, and often juniors do not have the experience to verify all this. No site visit is worth risking your life. And we're on to my last point for the video, and that is to keep your head up. Even if you've prepared as much as possible, construction sites are constantly changing environments. It's important to keep your head up and stay aware of what's happening around you. This could be walking on uneven terrain, or maybe you're on a catwalk and there's edges, or with machinery operating around you. Another thing that can easily become a hazard, but is also used as a tool on site, is your phone. If you need to answer a call or send a text or check a drawing or make a note, move somewhere safe first. Step out of the traffic routes, away from machinery, and onto stable ground. If you need to make communication with somebody, I personally think that phone calls are much safer than texting because you can keep your eyes up on your surroundings while you're on the phone rather than looking down at a text. But no matter what you're doing, never walk around on construction sites looking at your phone. It can be habit, especially at the start, to just pull out your phone and check it. Maybe you didn't have time to move to somewhere safe or you just forgot. But the one thing you should really remember is that if your phone comes out, your feet should stop moving. Well, that's all of my top tips for staying safe on construction sites. I do think that construction sites are one of the best places to learn as a junior engineer. You'll develop communication skills, see how projects are actually built, gain experience that you simply can't get from sitting behind a computer in the office. And it will be intimidating your first trips out there, but I promise it will get less intimidating with time. The more site visits you do, the more comfortable you'll become. And if you're ever unsure about something, ask your supervisor, ask the company's safety team, ask the foreman on site, ask the site superintendent. Everybody wants everybody to go home safe. Nobody will ever think less of you for asking a safety question. Just another quick recap before you head on to construction sites. Some key points that I mentioned to remember are to know the emergency procedures before you arrive, wear the required PPE before leaving your vehicle, communicate where you are and where you are going, make yourself known and visible around heavy equipment, never enter trenches in excavations unless you are properly trained and authorized. Again, this is very uncommon for a junior. And to keep your head up and stay aware of your surroundings. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips helped. Please leave any comments if you have any, and I will see you in the next video.